welcome everyone to the daily news analysis of 6th of February 2024. The important article आज की हिंदी न्यूज़पेपर से वन बाय वन डिस्कस करते हैं। पहला है with 47 votes Champai government wins the protest UPSC 73.7.36 lakh crore budget. A critical view on sanitation miracle in rural India. The road to a healthy democracy. Myanmar's civil war and India's interest. Then state welcomes a private investor but resists disinvestment. तो पहला आर्टिकल है with 47 votes Champai government wins the poll floor test. The new Champaiswaran government won the trust vote on the floor of the Jharkhand Assembly on Monday after 47 Jharkhand Mukti Morcha JMM-led alliance legislator voted for the motion and 29 against it. Mr. Champaiswaran moved to the motion on which a debate was held. During the debate, former Chief Minister Hemant Soren, arrested by the Enforcement Directorate in the alleged land scam case, accused the Raj Bhavan of being part of his arrest. He said that he would quit politics and leave Jharkhand if anyone proved he forged land documents. During the voting, 27 MLAs of the JMM, 17 of the Congress and one each of the Rashtriya Janata Dal and the Communist Party of India, Marxist-Leninist Liberation voted for the motion. The only nominated MLA, Glenn Joseph Galston, who represent the Anglo-Indian community, also voted in favor of motion, taking the total to 47. 25 MLA of the BJP, three of all the Jharkhand Students Union, AJSU, and one of Ajit Pawar faction of the Nationalist Congress Party voted against the motion. Independent MLA Saryu Roy did not vote. Another independent MLA Amit Yadav, Indrajit Mahato of BJP and Ramdas Soren of the JMM were not present in the House. Speaker Rajendra Nath Matho made the formal announcement of the Champai Soren government winning the trust vote before leaving the assembly premises. Mr. Champai Soren said the cabinet expansion would take place soon. As soon as Mr. Hemant Soren entered the assembly, the JMM and Congress legislators shouted a slogan in his support. They shouted slogans such as "Jail ka tala टूटेगा हेमंत सोरेन छूटेगा the jail locked will be broken and Hemant Soren will be released. It is probably for the first time a serving chief minister or former chief minister was arrested at the Raj Bhavan. I feel somewhere even the Raj Bhavan is involved in my interest, said Minister Hemant Soren. He alleged that the BJP treated tribal peoples as untouchable and the party wanted them to stay in the jungles only. If the BJP thinks that they can surprise my voice by sending me to jail, it is not going to happen. ED, CBI and IT cannot touch those BJP leaders who have coupled crores of money. Mr. Hemant Soren said he said the BJP did not want a tribal leader to complete 5 years of his term. The history of Jharkhand will never forgive the BJP being a single document which can prove that I have forged 8.55 acre of land. If you can bring it, then I will leave Jharkhand forever. When ED did not get anything from me, they are now checking the bank accounts of my wife. I fear that the way Bandhu Turkey lost his membership of the assembly, I may face the same fate, Mr. Hemant Soren said. Before the floor test, Governor C.P. Radhakrishnan addressed the 14th session of the 5th Jharkhand Legislative Assembly by reading out the achievements of the government during the debate. Leader of opposition Amar Kumar Bauri slammed Mr. Soren and the Congress. It is only with the BJP was in the center you saved your government. You are talking about ED and CBI. It was Congress government which sent your father Shibu Soren behind bars. It was the BJP which made you deputy chief minister for the first time. Stop blaming the BJP for everything, Mr. Bauri said. The next article is Maldives President Moijo vows to boost defense after telling India troops to leave. The small but strategically placed Maldives will strengthen its military to defend its vast maritime territory, the new president vowed on Monday after ordering Indian troops to withdraw from the archipelago. Mohammad Moizu said in his first address to the parliament he would turn the modest Maldivians National Defense Force into a military capable of patrolling its seas which straddle key global shipping lanes. The leader reiterated that India will begin withdrawing its troops operating three maritime reconnaissance aircraft from March 10 and complete the process within 2 months. New Delhi considers the Indian Ocean archipelago to be within its sphere of influence. However, the Maldives has shifted into the orbit of China, its largest external creditor, with September's election of Moises, who demanded the Indian troops leave. I believe that the modern military capability to defend the country by road, sea, and air should be strengthened in Maldives. Mr. Moijo said we have started to do that now. He said MNDF will soon be able to conduct surveillance of the country's 9 lakh square kilometer exclusive economic zone around the clock. Charges against India. The Maldives accused India's coast guards last week of entering the north of its EEZ and intimidating three Maldivian fishing vessels. Mr. Moizu said he had told India he would not extend a 2019 agreement to jointly carry out hydrographic surveying of the nation's 1192 coral islands. He did not identify India specifically but said he did not want to give a foreign nation the power to measure and map the Maldives ocean and coastlines. The next article, a Quad summit more likely after US poll in November and why. Leaders of the Quad nationals may not be able to meet for the summit in India before the US election, US Ambassador Eric Garcetti said, stressing that the Quad agenda would be more productive by 2024 and Australia, India, Japan, and the US from the Quad. Mr. Garcetti, who was speaking at a discussion with envoy from Australia and Japan and former official at the Jaipur Literature Festival over the weekend, indicated that the election schedules and campaign requirement would make it difficult for US President Joseph Biden to travel Delhi. Mr. Biden had earlier declined an invitation to attend the Republic Day parade followed by the Quad summit with the dates proposed by New Delhi for January 26-27. Absolutely, it will take place right after the election, Mr. Garcetti said in response to a question from the Hindu, clarifying that he meant the US elections to be held on November 5, 2024, as exciting as 23 was for bilateral relations with PM Modi's state visit. President Biden's visit to India for the G20 summit, India being the number one destination for US cabinet members and Treasury Secretary Yellen visiting the country 4 times. We need time to put the agenda back together. This will make the end of the year have more productive outcomes. The US envoy said. Mr. Garcetti said there would be some quadrilateral discussion on technology later this month on sidelines of the Initiative on Critical Emerging Technology (ICET) meeting. US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan is expected to lead a delegation to Delhi for talks with his Indian counterpart Ajit Doval for the ICET intersessional meetings and to address the annual Renaissance Conference organized by The External Affairs Minister and the Observer Researcher Foundation on February 21, 23, Mr. Garcetti, however, rejected the idea that the election schedule or the publicity of Republican Fortuner and former President Donald Trump defeating Mr. Biden in the election would affect the India-US bilateral or quadrilateral relationship. How it ended, the panel, which included former Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Malcolm Turnbull and former Indian Foreign Secretary Sam Saran also shed light on how the first round of Quad engagement from 2005 to 7 had come to an end until it was revived in 2017 by the four countries involved. According to Mr. Turnbull, it was Australia that publicly announced its decision to pull out of the Quad first in 2008, and although Mr. Saran added that behind the scene it was the then Bruce administration that had directly asked India not to push the Quad forward. The accounts are at some variance with the belief that it was India, not the US and Australia, that ended the Quad's earlier version during a speech in February 23. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar said that 2007 one country put pressure, you can guess who which one, and we back down, he said, referring to pressure from China and comparing the response in 2007 against 17. Mr. Saran, however, described a phone call from a senior US officials just before the Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's visit to Tokyo in 2006. Please tell your PM not to encourage Abe on the Quad. This is not the time we should push this forward, he said. Mr. Saran headed the official cited the Iran nuclear deal and the North Korean six-party talks as reasons for the US desire to not annoy Beijing in 2006. The next article, months before Lok Sabha poll, Lord Rama looms large in UPSC 7.36 lakh crore budget. Lord Ram was at the center of Uttar Pradesh 7.36 lakh crore budget presented on Monday. Finance Minister Suresh Khanna started his budget speech with a verse from the epic Manas and invoked Lord Rama several times during his 70-minute long speech. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said the budget has been dedicated to Lord Rama and meant for Lokmangal public welfare. The budget, which comes a fortnight eh, after the consecration ceremony at Ayodhya and roughly 3 months before the Lok Sabha elections, focuses on infrastructure, women education and development, cultural religious center. The announcement made by Mr. Khanna on Monday included 27,086 crore rupees to boost the state's health infrastructure, 2,475 crore for scholarship for students from the backward classes, 400 crore for handloom weavers with an aim to generate 40,000 jobs in the handloom and textile sectors, and an increase in the monthly pension for destitute women from 500 to 10,000 rupees. Mr. Khanna also announced schemes for employment generation, infrastructure development, women empowerment, and promotion of research and innovation in an emerging technology like artificial intelligence. The finance minister proposed 4,000 crore rupees for the distribution of tablet and smartphones. The finance minister said more than 25 lakh tablets and smartphones have already been distributed. Mr. Khanna said a provision of 1,000 crore rupees had been made for the construction of flyovers in urban areas and to address the issue of traffic congestions in cities and towns. The budget also proposed an increased allocation of 2,000 crore to ensure continuous power supply during summers and up to 33% from the current fiscal. The biggest ever budget of UP offers a perfect roadmap for the balanced development of a state. Lord Rama, who epitomizes the well-being of people, is present everywhere from the start till the conclusion of the budget, Mr. Adityanath said that at a press conference after the budget presentation, the budget is dedicated to faith and Antyodaya, self-reliance and economy. I congratulate the finance minister for presenting such a budget. The capital expenditure of 2.03 lakh crore rupees is a testimony to our government's commitment towards infrastructure in the state. He added, not nothing for 90% reacting to budget. The opposition launched a bill blistering attack on the BJP-led government and termed it an anti-people. Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav said it had nothing for 90% of the state population. Whether the budget is 7 lakh crore or 8 lakh crore is not important. The bigger question is what does it have for the backward classes, scheduled castes and minorities? The budget has not addressed the problems faced by the youth, farmers, women, and every other sections of the society. It has failed to provide any roadmap for the UP, said Mr. Yadav. The Bahujan Samajwadi Party chief Mayawati said the budget was meant to serve BJP's electoral interest rather than serving the broader public interest. Various announcements, promises and claims of the government have their own place, but it is also necessary to check whether all promises made by the government so far have been fulfilled. Mrs. Mayabati, a four-time CM, UPCM, wrote on X. The next, a critical view of sanitation miracle in rural In the past decade, improving sanitation coverage has been one of the key public policy miracles in India. Access to water and sanitation is a goal 6 in the 17 Sustainable Development Goals envisaged by the United Nations. So public sanitation program have a long history in the country, beginning with the launch of highly subsidized central rural sanitation program in 1986. The total sanitation campaign in 1999 marked a shift from a high subsidy regime to a low subsidy one and a demand driven approach. The public sanitation program evolved as a mission in 2014 under the Swachh Bharat Mission's government SBMG to make India open defecation free ODF by October 2019. Data and behavioral pattern. According to the information by the government of India, sanitation coverage in the country improved from 39% in 2014 to 100% in 2019, encouraged by the achievement under the SBM. The government launched phase 2 of the SBMG. The focus here was on the sanitability of the initial achievement by promoting solid and liquid waste management and covering those households left out earlier. The government aims to transform India from the ODF and ODF plus by 2024-25. Around 85% of villages in India have become ODF plus according to government data. Nevertheless, this impressive performance also needs to be viewed from the perspective of behavioral changes which will usher in sustainability in a true sense. The construction of toilet does not automatically lead to their use. A National Sample Survey Office NSSO survey 69th round showed that in 2012 when 59% of rural households had no access to a toilet. 4% of individuals who had access reported not using one were not having any superstructure. 21% the facility malfunctioning. 22% the facility being unhygienic, unclear. 20% and personal reasons. 23%. A survey conducted by the US in 2018 covering the best and worst covered districts and blocks of the three states showed that 59% of households in Bihar, 66% in Gujarat, 76% in Telangana, and Telangana had a toilet access. Among those having access, 38% of households in Bihar, 50% in Gujarat, and 14% in Telangana had at least one member who did not use it. A higher non-use of toilet in Gujarat was due to a lack of access to water in Dahood district, one of the two districts selected from the state. In another study by US in 2020, by us in 2020, we observed that 27% of households in the survey village in Gujarat and 61% in West Bengal did not have their own toilet. Moreover, around 3% of households did not use their own toilets in either states. One fourth of non-users household in Gujarat did not cite any specific reason for not using it. Social norms of purity may have dissuaded them from from using the toilet. Quality issues were also another major reason in Gujarat. 17% of those not using toilet reported that the substructure had collapsed, and 50% reported that the pits were full. One third of the non-users in West Bengal reported that the superstructure had collapsed, and another one third reported the pit being full. Toilets not used for defecation are used as storerooms. If social norms prevent toilet use on the premises, the facility is used for the for bathing and washing clothes. The variation across the survey of the percentage of households having access to toilet and their use are due to selection of the different districts. The more comprehensive national annual rural sanitation survey NARSS around 3 1920 conducted by the ministry showed that 95% of the rural population had toilet access in India. Access to owned, shared, and public toilets was available to 79%, 14%, and 1% of the household, respectively. It was also reported that 96% of the toilets were functional and almost all had access to water. However, the same report suggests that only 85% of the rural population used safe, functional, and hygienic toilets, assuming that the same percentage of the people have toilet access as the household. The gap rises to 10% between access to toilets and their use. These surveys throw out two major issues: the left out households and toilet unused for defecation. The left out household appear substantial and need to be covered in phase 2. On the other hand, the government should identify the shortcomings of the previous phase and cover the gaps in the present phase. Household size. Social norms. Our econometric models show that along with economic conditions and education, toilet uses depends on household size. The higher the household size, the greater the chances of not using the toilet. Overcrowding and social norms prevent all household members from using the same toilet. Our survey of 2020 showed that only 3 to 4% of households have more than one toilet. Further, the chances of using a toilet are reduced if access to water is difficult. The toilet use is found to be very high in remote and backward villages. If households have doorstep access to water, the chances of toilet use are also reduced. If a household has a detached bathroom, phase 2 of the program does not have any criteria mandating multiple toilets for households longer than a certain size. Neither does it have any provision for providing an attached bathroom. The Jal Jeevan Mission's program was launched to provide a tap water to each household by 2024. Nevertheless, no relationship has been observed between the per capita central expenses made on the JJM and the percentage of village declared ODA plus across the states. Neither is there any relation between the percentage of ODA plus villages in a state and households having tap connections? Social norms that act through social network play a significant role in toilet construction and use. Examining the networks through which other influences people for their sanitation behavior, we observe that the size and characteristics of these networks can be different in various parts of the country. In one of the upper caste dominated villages, lower caste were found to have high brokerages, ability to connect others. Hence, sanitation decisions are less likely to be taken independently. On contrary, sanitation networks in upper caste villages are more cohesive, smaller, and diverse. Sanitation behavior also varies across socio-economic classes. NARSS finds that access to toilets was highest for upper caste 97%, lower caste for scheduled castes 95%, Our multi-state study finds that the percentage of the non-users is highly among the upper caste than backward classes. Hence, a sanitation behavioral changes campaign should consider two steps: construction and use. Further, the variation in networks between villages should be considered in campaign design. As in some villages, behavioral changes of household can happen independently and collectively in others. Phase 2 of the SBMG does not seem to have given enough thought to social engineering through the social networks in a social society haunted by the regressive norms and caste hierarchy in lack of synergy. Around 10 crore toilets were constructed between 2014 and 19 during the initial phase of SBMG. The spurt in coverage has also triggered awareness regarding safe sanitation in the nation has still to take place. Our studies suggest that behavioral changes in sanitation cannot happen independently. It is contingent upon social networks and an overall improvement of living standards, including better housing and access to basic services. There are separate programs for each of these basic needs, but they are not well coordinated. The lack of overall planning in India has led to lack of synergy program, and despite high levels of expenditure in fulfilling basic needs, uncoordinated effects would lead to an inefficient utilization of precious public finances. The next article is the road to a healthy democracy. Excuse me. Sorry. The prospect of elevating India to the status of a developed nation by 2047, the 100th year of its independence, is captivating. This vision of a Viksit Bharat developed India has never been an achievable as it is today. Today, India is taking a quantum leap in every step sector. This has been a massive expansion in social and economic infrastructure, a boost to entrepreneurship, rural transformation, and manifold increase in the number of universities and colleges. Chandrayaan has set a new milestone in science and technology, and our digital public infrastructure from Aadhaar to UPI is the envy to the world. This does not just narrate a story of self-reliant, but also showcase the world what India can do. The Viksit Bharat mission embodies the spirit of the progress and development, aiming to the transforming economic strength and social prosperity. Central to this mission is the welcoming well-being our citizen and identifying ways to bring health equity for all. It is in the realm of healthcare that we find the foundation for a healthier, more resilient, and productive society. Over the past 2 decades, we have never emerged as a hub of medical innovation and talent. The explosive evolution of the Indian healthcare is a testament to transformative role to the sector can play in our quest for the development nation, and the time is to expand its contribution is now. Advantage of challenges. India's biggest advantage in its demographic dividend with a population of over 1.4 billion. India is one of the youngest nations with a median age of 29 years. This is an enormous opportunity or likely to last till 2047. Using this dividend well, we can propel India into a Viksit Bharat. Having said that, if this population is not healthy, we are potentially looking at a reduced productivity and subsequently substantial high economic burden. India bears the dubious distinction of being the diabetes capital with 101 million diabetes and 136 million with pediatrics cardiovascular disease of top the mortality charts, and cancer incidence is projected to rise by the 57% 0.5% by 2040. Trends over the past decade also indicate a people impacted by the chronic disease. It is important to prioritize preventive health care to avoid the onset of the chronic disease and equip every individual with the knowledge and action key they need to stay one step ahead of it. So friends, this is all for today and we will meet from tomorrow onwards with new news articles from the Hindu newspaper which are relevant from UPSC perspectives. So till then keep studying and thank you for listening. Have a good day.